Pope Francis is aware of how the media works, how the political media works, what it's been like over the course of this election that we just had. And so he's talking about the way the media functions, how it can play to sort of some of the negative emotions that people have. And he even gets into the territory of the fake news controversy that's all over the place these days. And so I want to read some of his quotes. He says, "I believe that the media should be very clear, very transparent, and not fall prey, without offense please, to the sickness of coprophilia, which is always wanting to communicate scandal, to communicate ugly things, even though they may be true. And since people have a tendency towards the sickness of coprophagia, wanting to consume it, it can do great harm." And he goes on to say, exactly, shit eating. He says, "Disinformation is probably the greatest damage that the media can do, as opinion is guided in one direction, neglecting the other part of the truth." And that's one of the reasons why conspiracy theories bother me as much as they do, especially ones that have to do with politics, is because generally the people who fall prey to these political conspiracy theories have, at least on some level, a genuine interest in politics and passion for uncovering the truth and trying to fix problems that they perceive. But they can't actually do that. They can't fix real problems if they're off chasing Pizzagate and things like that. It's not just that they're wrong, it's that it's subverting what could be useful, productive energy and thought.
Yes.
But then there's also what he was saying about the scandals, and we are in the media, we cover a lot of different types of topics. What do you think about that?
Do you think the same people who are obsessed with those conspiracy theories are actually could otherwise be obsessed, or are the same kind of people who, if they weren't pursuing conspiracy theories, would actually be pursuing actual solutions?
I know that it's at least hypothetically possible, because we've had people message us or meet us at the Fusion show and say, I used to be into those, I won't say which they are, but conspiracy theory shows. Yeah. And I thought, and this is the first news I was exposed to, Sesame Street, they peddle all these things about sharing and togetherness and stuff like that. Ugh. And
They're puppets, I say, puppets of the media.
No puppet. And then only after they've been exposed to other forms of media do they realize that they were being co-opted effectively. And so I'm not saying it's likely, but I do think that it's possible.
Right.
Now, conspiracy theories are just one part of this. What do you think about the media's tendency, including, I would say, probably the Young Turks, to focus on bad news and scandal and negative things generally?
It's easy, and you like it. That's the thing, is you like it. Because when it comes to, I mentioned this to you. You were not implicit in this at all. But the same way that people go off to look at porn and pleasure themselves, they also want to go off into a corner, read the most salacious, meaty, terrible conspiracy theory thing or about the person they hate, and just intensely hate it.
Yeah.
So you go, literally jerk off to porn, but you metaphorically just stroke all your anger in another room, and you like it. And from a media company's perspective, I would, if I ran a media company,
want a bunch of them.
Be very tempted to go write that stuff that feeds your need. It's the mullet model. Business in the front, party in the back. That's what they said about Huffington Post when it first started. It seems like at the beginning there's a bunch of really cool articles, and they care about all the stuff that you should be paying attention to. But the party in the back model is all those here's the guy who put his penis on a pizza.
Yeah.
And all that crazy party
Remember
stuff.
that celebrity that was hot? Here's some new photos. Bet they're not hot anymore. Yeah, stuff like that. That's true. And there's a endless supply of different negative emotions that you can appeal to in that way. It is sad when companies cater to it. There are reasons, especially in political media, to be legitimately mad, and anger can be an understandable and justified response to things that happen, and it can even be useful in stimulating people to go and do things. That's what a lot of the best documentaries do. They show you something, and then they channel your anger and passion into fixing it. But some people have no interest in that last step. They simply produce content to farm your resentment. They just want it to continually grow.
Yeah.
And they just target you at things to hate.
Yeah.
And they keep you in really a self-defeating emotional glass cage of your own creation or whatever.
Absolutely.
And so that's negative.
And you need to go ask yourself, upon watching those videos, even if it's someone that you hate because you disagree with them, a lot of them just kind of nurture this group of folks who hate stuff and agree with them. Mm-hmm. But especially if you disagree with them, why is that person around? They're just doing it to piss you off, and they're not offering a solution.
Exactly.
So that's on you to make sure that you don't continue to watch them or do anything.
Yeah, and for your own good, perhaps. And also because, again, that sort of behavior, like with the conspiracy theories, can stop you from actually making a change, from being more productive, both for yourself and then for the country as well.
There was another thing I saw where the New York Times interviewed a bunch of people who watched a bunch of different sites, and one guy was like, listen, I don't really believe the conspiracy stuff. It's just fun to watch it. And whether I'm I'm still going to sit in my house at the end of the day, and whether I'm going to actively pursue, like go to Comet Pizza or whatever and shoot a gun, I'm not going to do that.
Okay,
so
that's good.
Whether I'm sitting at home not like believing it and not going out, or just sitting at home laughing it off, it's all the same.
Yeah, and look, if you can make that distinction, like when I was a kid, I liked the Weekly World News.
Yeah.
And I liked wrestling growing up. And I didn't care that it wasn't real. It was entertaining. And that's fine. If you want that, I get that. But a lot of people do think it's real. Now, the only other angle...
Weekly World News, right? Because wrestling's real.
Of course. And Bat Boy from the Weekly World News sometimes wrestles.
Yeah, he's the governor of Florida.
The final angle on this I want to quickly touch on is that he sort of is saying he doesn't want you to focus on negative things. And I don't know to what extent I agree with that. I do think that we can do a better job of making sure that we highlight positive news, both because we're supposed to accurately reflect reality, but also it provides an incentive for people to do good things. But people need to know about the bad things that are going on. And so I think you can't simply say it's just a net negative to let people know that things need to change. And so I don't agree with that.
I understand the instinct as a reporter to, like, there's a Trump rally and I find the craziest batshit person to talk to. But I think a lot of people, or vice versa, you go to a Black Lives Matter rally and you find someone who's yelling, like, kill people. Like, you can find those folks. And that is good television. That's compelling television to watch. It's not good television. And I think what ends up happening because of that dynamic is you end up only seeing the batshit crazy person from the other side. And you get to believe that. You have no incentive to leave your house and fix that misrepresentation or that misperception that you have.
You know you want to become part of the independent media revolution.
Go ahead, girl.
Do it now. TYTnetwork.com/join.